Hey there guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a rope doorstop. Here is our doorstop in action. It is made using traditional knots, such as the monkey's fist knot, a splice, and a couple of footrope knots. When it comes to supplies, the first thing that we're going to need is a cord for our doorstop. In my case, this is a concrete sphere 3.5 inches in diameter, so 90 millimeters. I have demonstrated how to make these in my previous video. For this project, I'm going to be using manila rope. The diameter of my rope is 5/16 of an inch or 8 millimeters. I'm going to be using 30 feet for this project, which is about 9 meters. I'm going to tape up both of my ends to prevent them from fraying or unraveling. Like this. 2 pieces of thread are going to be used to make splicing a bit easier. The 2 tools that I'm going to be using for this project are a fed and a pair of scissors. We're going to begin tying on one end of our rope. We're going to begin coiling our rope into equal-sized passes. We want a total of 7 for this project. It really depends on the size of your rope. Like this. I grab my passes into my right hand and I have 7 plus my working hand. I now begin wrapping around at a right angle around my previous passes. Again, I'm going to do a total of 7 passes. After a few, I insert the cord and continue wrapping. Again, I have a total of 7 passes and I begin feeding my rope through the top opening like this, then under and through the bottom opening like this, across the top, and again into the top opening. We are again aiming at 7 passes through the top and the bottom opening. now have 7 passes, and my 2 ends meet on one side of our monkey's fist. We are now going to tighten it up. We continue by tightening up the monkey's fist knot. We begin at one end, work our slack through the knot, and work it into the other end. Our first pass of tightening is dedicated to lining up our knot. So we want to get each pass alongside the previous and the next pass. It's not really about tightening, but lining up. So your first pass can be done quite loosely. So we get neatly lined up passes. When we get through the knot, we pull our slack out into the other end. This is one pass of tightening. The next pass is going to tighten up the knot further. Usually I do a total of 3 tightenings. When the knot gets really tight, I use a fid to help me get some leverage onto my rope. It makes pulling out a rope a lot easier. After tying the monkey's fist knot, we're going to form a handle. We're going to do it by joining the 2 ends together using a short splice. The first step is to measure out the size of the handle, then secure the 2 points where we're going to join the 2 ends. So here and here. You can do this with a constrictor knot. You can do this with a strangle knot, a whipping, whatever you want to use. I'm going to be using 2 pieces of thread for this purpose. Here is how I secured the 2 points using strangle knots. I take a piece of thread and pass it over the point. I leave a bit of thread behind in the standing end. I wrap around loosely 4 to 5 times. Like this, and I bring my wraparounds together. Like this. I take my right end and I pass it under my wraparounds all the way to the left. I take my left end, I make sure that I pass over the right end, then again pass under the wraps, this time towards the right. Then all you do is tighten up. Repeat on the other end. Unravel both of your ends up to this point. Like this. So we have 3 ends here and 3 ends here. I'm going to continue by taping up all 6 ends. After taping up the ends, we're going to begin a short splice. First, interlock the 3 ends on the left with the 3 ends on the right. So each end travels in between 2 opposing ends. So this one in between these 2, this one in between these 2, and this one in between these 2. To now splice our ends together, we're going to take each of our strands and pass over one, under one. So this one travels over one, under one. And the next end, let's say this one, is again going to travel over 1 and under 1. And the last of our ends does the same. So we travel over 1, under 1. Like this. Pull on each of your ends to lock them into place. This is our first tuck. We're going to do a total of 3. So we continue the same way. This strand passes over 1, under 1. This strand passes over 1, under 1. And this strand is going to pass over 1 and under 1. So this is our second tuck. Again, pull on all of the ends to really lock them in. And again, this strand passes over 1, under 1. This strand passes over 1, under 1. And the last of our strands passes over 1, under 1. So this is a total of 3 tucks. Pull firmly on all of the ends to lock them into place. Like this. Then we're going to do the 3 ends on the left. Flip your project over like this and repeat. So this end travels over 1, under 1. This end travels over 1, under 1. And our last end travels over one, under one. This is our first tuck. Pull on all of the ends to lock them into place. Then continue 2 more times. So this end travels over under, this end travels over under, and this end travels over under. That's the second tuck. Pull on all of the ends to lock them into place. We're going to do this one more final time. So this end, over one, under one, this end, over one, under one, and this end, over one, under one. Pull on all of the ends to finally lock down your splice. So what you get is a nice looking handle. We're now going to remove our thread out of the splice. Here I usually use a knife. After splicing our handle together, we're going to finish up the 3 strands remaining on each side. To do this, I'm going to tie a double footrope knot. We begin with a crown knot. So we take one of our strands and we pass it counterclockwise over the next strand. The next strand passes counterclockwise over the next strand. And the last of our strands passes top down into our first loop. What we get is a 3-stranded crown knot. It has a triangular shape. We continue by taking one of our ends, passing under our next end, and we double up the strand that we're using here at the top, going under one, like this. So we double up on the inner side. Take the next end, again, pass under the next working end, and double up your strand. So this is the one that I'm using. and I'm going to double it up on the inner side, passing under one. And the last of my strands, this one here, passes over to here, then under these two strands, and comes up alongside itself. So this is the strand that I'm using. Then we pass here at the top under two, doubling up this strand on the inner side. So the top is already doubled up. To finish up our footrope knot, we take one of our strands and we double up the one below it, going over two, then up through the center, like this. And this finishes one of our strands. Take the next one, double up this one below it, going over two, and up. And the last of our strands doubles up the one below it, traveling over two, then immediately up through the center of the knot. This is the so-called double footrope knot. To tighten it up, we start with a strand coming out of the splice. So first we need to find one of those strands. Then we pull on it to remove slack through the entire knot and into one of the ends. Then simply continue. Find another one of those strands, pull on it, work the slack through the knot and into one of the ends. And our final strand, like this. And this completes a double footrope knot on one of the ends. Now you can trim these three ends and repeat on the other side. Once both footrope knots on each side of your splice are complete, so is your project. You may want to choose to burn off any stray fibers, other than that, your project is complete. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that I presented all of the techniques clearly enough. See ya next time.